Yes, everyone, you know what time it is. It's your boys Jack and Dave here. We're giving our Twitter reacts, recording it the following day. Post Chelsea misery, which is always great to see, and also it's just good to be sitting at the top of the league, isn't it? So many good tweets out there. Unfortunately, cannot put them all out there. I saved so many good ones, had so many bookmarked down. But Elon Musk, it looks like maybe his app is having a bit of a mare once again. I've tried my best. I'm even gone on to some of the tweets that I've liked and see that there was a bookmark there, and it's not even showing up on my bookmark list. So I would just ask you maybe just suggest Elon, that you maybe take a look at your app and maybe fix it for the 10th time after you bought it. And maybe there is a reason it's called X now instead of Twitter, because I do remember Twitter used to work a lot more simply. So let's do see though how the rest of the Twitter sphere has to respond. If you can for me though, smash that like button, get your comments in down below. And again, I do apologize for not having the best of the best tweets. There's so many good ones I did have cooked up for you guys, but we're gonna make do with what we have. Still so many good ones out there. And we're gonna start with selfishly one of my own tweets. And I had a lot of praise from my man Emo last night, and I said not seeing enough praise for Emerson on my timeline. He literally came on to do Ben Davies' job for him, even though he's a right back and right-footed. I think Emerson once again is showing his versatility. He can step in and play as a center back maybe if need be. He can step in and play as a right back, right wing back. Now he's showing he can play as an inverted left back. The guy is showing some tactical intelligence. He's showing that he's listening to Ange, with the instructions for what he needs to do when being called upon. And he was solid defensively, showed for the ball, wasn't hiding from the ball like Ben Davies was. And I just think Emerson deserves more praise, from last night, Dave. Not seeing enough of it.
I mean, look, this has been my biggest problem the last 3 to 4 years, Jack. There seems to be a taboo culture around calling out Dyer, Davies,
The
and
old
all these
crew.
sort of guys. And the old crew, even though since the new crew has come in, and they've been ousted, we've seen that they just ain't good enough for Tottenham. And I'm surprised it's not the biggest talking point today, if you want me to be brutally honest, Jack. The fact that Davies came off and Emerson came on, and it completely changed the game for Tottenham Hotspur. It gave us a lot more balance. It made us a lot more effective in the press. It gave us a lot more going forward. Also, we weren't having to get Van de Ven to come out a left back to cover him defensively either. I'm surprised it's actually not the biggest talking point today. Remember that chant, Emerson Royale, he can't defend, he can't attack, Emerson Royale, he's our right wing back. Well, next time Ben Davies play, I want to hear fans sing that about him, if that's
Yeah,
the standard we're doing. I mean,
yeah.
it's honestly, for me, it just goes to show I don't want any more talk about Ben Davies, being a good backup, this, that, and the other. Them games last night, or what his role is as a backup, and he failed. He let us down.
Yeah.
It was that bad. Madison had to play left back for 5 minutes.
I think you're right that it might be a conversation that people are trying to avoid because there are a lot of very, very well known, and you probably do know them, everybody, well known Spurs journos. And I saw their summaries of the game, their praise for certain players that they thought really stood out on the day and everything. And again, this is where this tweet comes from. None of them mentioned Emerson, not one bit. And I do feel like maybe it's because they're trying to avoid a certain conversation regarding maybe a Ben Davies that was also the first substitute. He was the first substitute, Ben Davies, subbed off straight away at halftime. So I think that just seems to be, a bit more example of the protectionism or just, the fact that we don't want to have a real conversation about somebody who's clearly not doing well enough to warrant being in this team. Tam saying 2 stamps on the Achilles, several players continuously making fouls and not one yellow card. English referees. They really are one of a kind, Tams. And I must say, I just think they're just continually showing that they actually have no idea what they're doing out there. They really don't. From VAR to just, various fouls that just don't make sense when called, and then fouls that are so blatantly obvious. You see a guy getting clocked in the face, and, they're just waving, get up and play on. The guys, I just don't think have any idea what they're doing out there. And then when you watch like a Bundesliga game or even a game in like the Super League of like Turkey, you're seeing the referees at least have some idea of what's going on. It is sad. It is pathetic.
I mean, it's that embarrassing. The referee may as well came dressed out as the Palace mascot yesterday. It was so obvious. It's embarrassing.
Maybe dressed as an eagle for Halloween. Billy saying real killers run at an insane amount, drop a masterclass, and then just sit like this, like it was nothing. What a player! And Dave, can you provide the context behind this? I believe this was from Basuma's story or something like that.
Yeah, so Basuma and Madison were in the change room after the game. They had their Basuma was obviously dressing room DJ. He had the tunes on,
Yeah.
and him and Madison were sort of dancing. Emerson was involved as well, and they just pan it over to Papa Matasar, and he's just sat there like that, as cool as you can, as a
Checking the
cucumber.
stocks.
He's probably doing one of his computer soft engineering
Yeah.
degrees or something like that. You know, he's super intelligent. But I love the way that the kid he's not getting grounded. He ain't getting carried away. He goes out, puts in the energy he does, and then just sits there like a beast after. In fact, he's just a cigar away missing from looking like an absolute boss.
Yeah, he looks like he should be in a French cafe or like a Vienna cafe, somewhere, with philosophers. He looks like he's about to watch a TED Talk. Big up to Pop Matasar.
Yeah.
This was, again, selfishly another tweet that I wanted to bookmark for myself, and this came in from my brother, everybody, who's, of course, I've probably forced, in some way to have sympathy towards Tottenham, but I'd like to consider that he's a bit more of a rational, sort of sensible, kind of neutral fan that just watches, the occasional Premier League game. And he said, big win, VAR on a mission, though, to correct their Liverpool error. Dave, I mean, we had sort of said once we got that decision made, for us and we benefited from it, I did say to you, I was like, I don't really see us benefiting ever again. They're going to make very, sure that we're never going to get another benefit of a decision ever again after that. And I think that's showing with that handball.
I mean, look, I didn't disagree with you at the time because it's true. We all knew what was coming. I think what was most embarrassing about it is, I mean, I think we've seen 40 replays. After 20, they're looking for a reason to
Yes.
give it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Cody Mack, 19 fouls and no Palace player was booked until the 100th minute, lol. But the refs want Spurs to win the league. Remember? Yeah, that's right. That's one of the narratives that, the referees are in our back pocket and yet they're giving handballs that, are completely off, or they're giving penalty or not giving, or whatever the term, what happened with the Jordan Ayew moment. They're allowing goals that clearly were handballs. They're not giving us any fouls, on the day. They were protecting every Palace player when they went down, and then you're seeing our guys having their Achilles just being absolutely ripped on by the studs of the Crystal Palace players, and the referee never bothered once to pull out his card and actually encourage Palace players, I believe, to continue to do it and actually help them, make the game a bit more difficult on us, because if they're not getting carded for it and they're not going to have any sort of repercussions, they're just going to continue to do it. I mean, that's what you would do. So it's just, I don't know, Cody. I think the refs.
Thought we were watching rugby league at times yesterday, Jack. I mean, it was embarrassing, some of the challenges that the referee was letting them away with. But look, it was the same against Fulham last week or Monday night as well. But look, now we know where we stand in the referees' book. Let's just get on with it. Let's be that good that we don't even have to rely on decisions.
Look at the passion from our boys here, Davo. Emerson, Pop Matasar, they're all just, giving the big fist pumps. They're just feeling it, after the end of the game as well. They're just absolute legends. Loving the passion from this team.
There's that psychotic feel to the team, and I sort of really enjoy it.
Yeah, they are a little nutter. They're a little nutty, that's for sure. Axel THFC saying, forgot about the league table for a second. Thank you, Ange Postecoglou, for changing our football philosophy and feeling around the club. Thank you for making us Spurs fans count down the days for our next games. Thank you for simply making us enjoy watching Tottenham play football again. Very well said, Axel. Regardless of where we are in the league, those are sort of the things that we always have to remember, right? That's what we sort of went and what we wanted from the beginning of this season. Craig O'Sullivan saying booing Romero is like booing Chuck Norris. And that it's just, there's no point, Dave. I mean, he's just unfazed by it. I think he probably becomes better, when you start booing him, if you're a Crystal Palace fan or an opposition fan. He loves the hate.
Well, I mean, we've seen what Vinicius done Monday night against Fulham, Jack, and I remember saying to you, big mistake. What did Romero do? He absolutely made a show of him for the rest of the game, in possession and out of possession, looking to wind him up all the time. All you're doing, this is what I love about this team, especially and it's led by players like Romero. The more hate he gets, the more he's just gonna perform better.
Yeah.
So by all means, keep booing.
Keep booing, just keep doing it. This is a great tweet from Emma. She said, Spurs Stadium was open tonight to watch the game. Food before the match, a free drink, and raffle at halftime with some really impressive prizes. And Gary Mabbitt was there, and it was all completely free. Hope Spurs do it again for for the next away game. You rarely see these sort of things, a bit of, touch from the club, a bit of class, from the club in that sort of regard. And even when they do it, you rarely see any sort of recognition of it by the fan base either. And so I just want to give my sort of props to Emma for pointing that out. If I lived in the London area, if I lived in the North London area, I would absolutely have attended that. That looks really fun. That looks like exactly what we should be having, on an away day, especially a London derby too, right? It just seems like, sort of a good sort of place to, especially families, and I don't know. It's just a classy touch by the club and a classy touch by Emma as well, Dave.
Look, it's a nice touch by the club. Now there's no excuses for pulling back in January. We're finding revenue from everywhere now.
Now all of a sudden they're handing out free drinks. James Ma says if Spurs have anything about them, they'll put a statement on their website about that Palace goal. Posting, I think, in regards to Liverpool, right? Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, right? Made such a meal of the decisions, and I guess if we're gonna have a decision go against us, might as well also make a big deal of it. Spurs song sheet saying, showing who our star boy is there, Dave.
Just.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just quickly, Jack, I think I got the other tweet wrong, the one up above that. It was all put on by the club free for people. That's actually very good. I thought, the open people are paying for it. It's free for people.
No. It was free to attend.
Yeah. I mean, Jack, the guy's just, the kid's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. I absolutely love the guy. Look, when Bentancur comes back, I think there is a decision to be made there. Sort of, Bentancur looked decent last night. It looks like he could get back to them same levels. But, look, it's the engine of the kid, It's the unselfishness of him that I love most. Defensive, going forward, he'll put it in for you.
Definitely. No, but yeah, it was entirely free, and free drinks and, raffles and everything. I think it was a classy touch by the club. LOA, Friday Night Fever 2023. This is one of his best ever. I think, look at that. I actually, dare I say, Ange looks kind of hot. Like, he looks kind of hot, like, in that photo, I think. Genuinely, I like it, That's sort of a type of look that only so many can pull off. And I think definitely Ange, back in the 70s, he definitely was rocking that sort of look, in the Melbourne clubs. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Botter TH.
His work is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's one of his best, though, really. Like, it really is terrific. Botter THFC saying, speed up sound. I mean, the cameraman can't even keep up with this kid. It's just that's how quick he is. And I know Dave has been trying to get his name into the Olympics sometime soon as well. Daily Hotspur saying Christian Romero on winning trophies with THFC, saying because in the end, a lot of players will have played here and to achieve something would be huge because if you don't, you can just be another player who played for the club and I wouldn't like that. Talk about mentality right there. Talk about mentality. This is things that we just didn't hear from the old crew.
No, I absolutely love it, Jack. I mean, the fact that he doesn't just want to be a number, he wants to be someone that, you look at the legacy numbers, for instance, like, the Jimmy Greaves number, Glenn Hoddle number, stuff like that. You're looking at players that achieve something. And, this group of players, they want to be in that bracket, and I absolutely love it. Old mentality, all you heard is, well, it's Conte's fault I'm not performing, or, it's the tea lady's fault I'm not performing. I was sick of it. Whereas now we're in a moment where, people are talking like they want to win trophies. And Postecoglou in his press conference last night has changed tact a little bit as well,
Okay, I like it. He's starting to believe. LJ 1882. Another win and 5 points clear. Not a pretty game, but we controlled it. And to be honest, I don't care. The second goal was a blind move. Sonny is on fire. Van de Ven was solid. And Bentancur is back. One piece of happy news among an ocean of horrible events. Big up to you, LJ 1882. And I do enjoy your summaries as always, my friend. Big up. Yeah. Sorry.
That second goal that LJ is talking about, I mean, I watched it back today.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely incredible move.
Great work from Johnson as well. I think, the neck power of that initial header I thought was terrific, really.
Switch of play was awesome as well. It was a great ball.
Yeah, from Sar. Big up to you, C-Dog. He's saying, have to call Kara out. I think Jamie Carragher out for the commentary tonight. Thought it was a disgrace how he was so willing for that clear hand ball by Ayew to be given as a goal still. I very highly doubt he'd have shown that same type of energy had it been Son who did the same at the other end. And to be honest too, right? He would have absolutely, been livid if it was Liverpool in that scenario. You just know
Oh
it.
yeah.
And he said, but it's cool. We're top, and we're enjoying looking down on the other 19 Premier League clubs, especially Liverpool. And I agree with C-Dog THFC because Jamie Carragher, of all people, is absolutely not going to be neutral about that. The moment that happens against Liverpool, he's going to be making, he's going to be calling up politicians and, making sure that, it never happens ever again, all that sort of type of stuff. And yeah, it is a little hypocritical. Becky Day saying they should add his miles per hour too over all the stats on Mickey Van de Ven. Terrific, Becky. Terrific.
They should. I mean, I want to see pictures of the guy in the Flash outfit. If he doesn't dress up as Flash for Halloween, there's something wrong.
No,
But she's
definitely.
right. The miles per hour has to be on his stats. It's awesome.
Spurs web, Ange Postecoglou on the handball claims for Jordan Ayew's goal. I am not going to talk about that handball. I have no idea what is a handball. That picture alone is just wow.
It's embarrassing.
I mean, you might as well have switched to a basketball game, I guess, towards the end of the match if we're just going to allow these. LJ1882 saying the officiating was atrocious all night. Ref refused to give out cards, which allowed Palace to kick us around, then allowed the goal when it was obviously handball, then somehow found an extra 13 minutes of injury time. They really tried hard, LJ1882. They really did try hard. You're absolutely right. Cody Max saying Palace has been very dirty today, and given how effective it's been, thanks, ref, it wouldn't shock me to see more teams try it, especially if we keep getting results. Dave, do you agree?
Well, look, this is the result of it, right? It's the great equaliser for these teams. They know they can't compete with us on a football level. They know they can't compete with us on a fitness level. So what you'll do is you'll see them all take turns rotating, taking players down. Now, there is such thing called accumulation, and that's where the referee needs to get a hang of it and
Correct.
start booking them so they can't keep doing it, which allows then the football to prevail. When you don't do that, you've seen what we've seen last night, where you allow rugby to prevail instead of football.
Well said, Dave. The accumulation is absolutely something that he's been missing. And that's a huge part of being a referee. Like, I mean, he's blowing the whistle, great, but you have to actually realize that maybe you've blown the whistle on the same guy about 8 or 9 times now. Maybe it's time that he actually gets more of a real warning. And we also have Mickey Hazard, big up to Mickey Hazard, saying, sorry for me was outstanding tonight. What a find this kid is. Man of the match for me. Come on, you Spurs. I can tell Mickey Hazard really likes Pop Montessori. He seems to have praise for the guy almost after every single match. Maybe he sees a little bit of himself in the young star boy. Tam says could be a manager of the month for the 3rd month in a row. I mean, it was a tricky October. And also just, by the way, on October, Dave, always cursed in October, Spurs have been over the past few years. We've seen Dyer and plenty of other players really capitulate over those months. We've seen managers get sacked in the October periods and then the November periods. Ange already kind of breaking, a bit of that October curse in some regard.
No, I think we've got through that October curse nice and fine, Jack. Under Nuno, like you said, it capitulated. Under Conte, it capitulated. But we've done well. We've
Yeah,
done very, very well this month. We've what was it? A hard fought win with 10 men against Luton away from home. Fulham we beat at home. Palace away from home. I mean, it's been a very decent month for us, and I don't understand why we can't get manager of the month again. He's breaking records, Ange. This is what he's here to do.
yeah,
This team ain't scared of hoodoos or records. They want to be the record breakers, and that's what I
exactly.
love about it.
Exactly. Prop Spur, how many intentional fouls does Ayu have to commit before getting booked? Especially him. Like, he's a good presser, Ayu, but he just was getting away with it. Flav saying football is easy. Just got over the line. That's what we did, Flav. That's it's that easy. HLTCO, who's a very prominent Crystal Palace fan and podcaster, says, as nights at Selhurst Park go, that was up there with the most frustrating I can remember in years. I think the reason he's alluding to that is because once we did go 1-0 or 2-0 up, Palace really did stop playing. They actually didn't even try. It felt like to even try to go and try to make it catch up. Like, remember there was moments where Vicario was just standing there with the ball, and he was like, aren't you guys going to press me? And generally they were just standing there, just watching each other, having a conversation with each other, just staring at each other. And if I was a Palace fan, I would have been livid. I really would have been livid in that moment. It's like you're 2-0 down. Like, you have to press the ball. You can't just, watch the game just sort of peter out. Like, that really is pathetic.
It wasn't so long ago we were there, Jack, watching
Yeah,
that.
sort of the
2-0
point I
down,
mentioned.
no one pressing, no one doing anything.
Right.
It does become very frustrating.
That's
It
what I
really
should have
does.
said. That's what I should have said, actually. That's what makes it, very relevant to Spurs, right? We've been in that position before. Good point. Patty saying, this man has transformed our beautiful club and made fans believe again. My manager. Look at that cameo pic of our man Ange. Looking good in that suit as well, isn't he? Matty Hayes saying, Emerson Royale, Emerson Royale, Pierre Mahoybeer, Brendan Johnson, Brian Hill, and Rodrigo Bentancur all came off the bench tonight. Is this depth? In certain areas, yes. I think Emerson is a fine backup. Højbjerg is a fine backup. Brennan Johnson is also a fine player, I think, to be challenging around the first team. Brian Hill is also a very useful and adequate player to rotate in. Bentancur at some stage might find himself in the first 11, but I still think left back, as it showed Matt Hayes, Emerson Royale has not been brought in here to play inverted left back. Like he was having to, make a decision, that this guy, I'm just going to have him, do a job for me. And he did a better job than Ben Davies did, but that is not sustainable for the rest of this year. I don't think we can just expect Emerson just to put in master classes in that sort of position, in case we need him to, in case Udoji misses more games. So I would say, yes, we have really good depth in certain areas, but other areas not so much still, in my opinion.
Yeah, spot on. I think what it does do, it probably highlights, where we actually need to spend the money this sort of January, despite many people having many different areas that they want. You look at Bentancur and Højbjerg, that's out. That's two added on to the three we've already got. You look at the wingers. We've got enough wingers. I keep saying this at Tottenham. We've got loads of wingers. Where I do think the money needs to be spent is a left back, centre back, and a striker. That's what we should be looking at this January, in my opinion. But Matty is right. In other areas, there is strength in depth there.
And those are nice names to be bringing off the bench, and I think that's just what he's trying to point out. He's right
They're
about
all
that.
names I trust as well.
True.
They're all names that I trust. And look, I go, they'll give it their all when they come on.
Well said. Well said. Cho saying, son taking a bottle of water from the Palace medical staff and asking the rep if he wants a sip. I'm not sure if you were able to catch that video. It's already been taken down by the looks of things. But Dave, what's pretty funny, like he takes the water and then he just points it right at the referee. And I think that was quite cheeky from Son, because if I were him, I would have said to him, maybe you need a splash of cold water in your face because you're not really, getting this game under control, really. So I would have sprayed the water in the referee's face if I were Sonny. Mickey Hazard.
Pat him down to see if he had his cards.
Mickey Hazard saying, anybody got any suggestions of help here? I have a real problem looking down as it induces vertigo, especially when I'm at the top. I will just have to put up with it for the near future, I think. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, Dave, do you have trouble with vertigo being at the top of the table? It can get a little dizzy.
It can get a little dizzy, Jack, but I'll be honest, this is where I'm at my best. I'm made to be at the top of the league, and I'm loving being here. It's absolute. Do you know what I love most about it? The fact that it kills. Every other fan is getting out of bed every morning, looking at the Premier League table, going, "How the fuck are they?" They got here, and I love it. I get out of bed, I have my coffee, I have toast or Cocoa Pops, depending on what I'm feeling, and I'm absolutely loving life. Whereas they get out of bed and they're miserable every day. I love it.
I think they're waking up each day and going like, wow, damn, they're still up there. And I think that's what it is, each day. Cody Romero saying this is the direction to the right path, no matter what happens or where we get to. But like this, with work and everyone together always. Come on, you Spurs. Big up to Cody Romero, plus 3 points, and 11 the White Hart as well. Absolute legend. He's just showing more and more to be one of the best defenders in the league. Dog THFC, welcome back, brother. He's just taking a screenshot of Bentancur from James Madison's story. Look at Bento. It's just brilliant to see him back into the team, isn't it? And BLN17 saying, are the refs afraid to give players yellow cards versus us now? Paulings the other night and Hughes tonight as well. Absolutely shocking, says Nabil N17. I agree. I remember the Fulham referee not being too great either. It just was sort of a game where it did feel like it was more in control than that Crystal Palace game, where it did feel like the Crystal Palace game, like, this is actually hurting us. Like, this is making the game a lot more difficult on us than it needs to be. And I agree with him. I think this is, something to look out for, a trend to be aware of.
What's it going to take, though, Jack, for the referees to also cop on with it, what's it going to take? An injury to a Spurs player, a big injury to a Spurs player, and fuss and everything that's been created around it, and a narrative being created around it before they get to grips with it? It shouldn't take that.
No, absolutely. Billy saying, don't give an F about the league table. I just love my effing club so much.
on it.
That is the best. Patrick Tyrant saying, "You're really pissed off, aren't you? You thought we weren't going to drop points, still wondering when we're going to lose a game, eh?" Big up top, Patrick. Love it, my man. Loving this energy. He's feeling confident. Prof Spurs saying 5 points clear at the top, but why am I furious? I'm furious with just a certain left back that I thought, didn't do his job. I'm also furious with the referees, and I'm also kind of just furious with just the general kind of lack of recognition of my boy Emo. But in general, I'm going to calm down, Prof Spur. 5 points clear. I can't get too wrapped up in sort of little micro details. Got to enjoy the position that we're in. Got to be together. Got to enjoy this. But I do see what you're saying. There were some things last night that did kind of genuinely piss me off to a degree. And as well, James Madison wishing a happy birthday to the one and only Glenn Hoddle, which I thought was a classy touch from Mr. Matters.
Do you know, I also think it's a classy touch, but like Glenn Hodlin and that, mentioning Simon, the guy who performed the CPR on him to help save his life, classy touch.
Very classy. And just a classy club with classy players, Dave. Simon Humane saying, "I thought it would be weeks until we get to see Bentoncourt on the pitch again. All that talk about taking it slow for Ange had me fooled. Hold my hands up in absolute pure happiness, just like his teammates." Together, yeah, and they really were, you could tell, like, so delighted to have Bentoncourt back, weren't they? I mean, they just looked over the moon to be seeing that guy back into the team. And do you think he's somebody that maybe isn't exactly a captain or, an official leader of the team, Dave, but perhaps he was sort of, I don't know, like, do you think maybe he was given, or maybe he has a bit more of a leadership role around the team than we thought? Maybe he's seen as more of a leader than we thought?
Yeah, look, I just think a lot of people like him, Jack. I think he's a good human being and he's a good, solid player as well. He works hard for individuals, and I think, there's a lot of love for him in and around Tottenham. The fans say, he endeared himself in the fan base very quickly. If he'd done that with the fan base, you can imagine how quick he's endeared himself in with the squad. And look, we've got a big sort of South American contingent there, and a lot of them are sort of, running that dressing room, and they also bring that sort of that dog-like mentality that they have on the football pitch with them, that roughness that other people don't like, that Romero's brought. Bentancur can be like that too, and he fits right in there. He fits right in there. But I think they love him most because of the player he is.
He's just a classic player. He's just a classic quality player, and they just know that they're a lot better with him in the team and healthy. Cody Max saying maximum points, 1 goal conceded, should have been disallowed, top of the table, and Spurs didn't play well in October. And Ange, like I said, he's breaking that October sort of curse. We've been very cursed in that month, and it's a tough one to break. And Simon Humane, last but not least, saying little bro killed it tonight. Still can't believe he's only 21 years old. Our Sar boy, he's terrific, and we love him, don't we, Mr. Simon? And Dave, any final words for people on sort of the Twitter sphere and everything? Again, so many good bookmarks that I didn't have in there. I'm very frustrated with Elon, but yeah, this is what we could come up with. Very good tweets nonetheless. But any final words, Davo?
Yeah, we'll have to start getting a list together, Jack, of things that are broken since Tottenham, on top of the league. Mikel Arteta, Jurgen Stroppi, VAR, the referees, now Twitter, and also my internet. So, I mean, that's a list of 6 so far. So, but honestly, I do want to apologise to everybody last night about, the stream basically just crashing completely after the game. Myself and Jack really wanted to sit there and just enjoy ourselves with you guys and stuff like that. So I do apologise about that, and it won't happen again. Anyone that did send in a super chat or use one of them membership messages, we did address them on the post-match show at the very beginning. So make sure you go and check that out if you wanted to hear what we had to respond to it. But once again, I do apologise. But what I won't apologise for is being 5 points clear, top of the league, and I'm just buzzing. And go over and check out my tweet as well. A tweet about Chelsea today. The definition of all the gear, no idea. Losing to Brentford, come on, and a massive opportunity for us to get Pochettino sacked next week.
Let's embarrass him, please, everybody. Smash that like button on your way out. Get those comments in down below, and we will be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs. In the big Ange we trust. We never stop. See you, everybody.
We never stop.